So I just give them a shout out. And so my point to everybody today, and my message to everybody today is to stop, get involved, think about how you're going to get involved. If you have never run for office, think about running for office. We have many veterans out there today that are now starting to wake up and get involved in their communities like they've never been involved in the political life of our country. I know, like me, a lot of people are sick and tired of the political class of our country that keeps making promises to us for their vote, for us to give them their vote, and then they break that promise. The promise of America is about freedom. The promise of America is about our ability to breathe the fresh air of liberty. The promise of America is about who we are as American citizens. Who do we want to be? We want to continue to have this beautiful experiment in democracy. We want to continue to have all of the freedoms that we hold dear, all of the freedoms that we cherish. There have been thousands and thousands of Americans who have sacrificed their very life for our country. In many, many wars over the last 200 and almost 40 years that this country has been in existence. So as we go forward today, and as you go forward today from here through the rest of the summer, these next few months, start to think about how you can be involved in your local community and how you can actually step up and do something more for our country than you have ever done before. Maximize your potential. Take some risk. And we want to thank our veterans. We want to thank our military, many who are serving around the world tonight, willing to sacrifice their very lives for the freedoms that we hold dear. So thank you very much for holding this rally today. Thank you to all the Patriots around the state of Florida, the great state of Florida, around the country, and all those people who are willing to step up and do something more than they've ever done before. If we don't, we could lose this country. And that's something that I will not allow happen. So God bless you all. God bless each and every one of your children, the families that you represent, and God bless America. Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, we come to that part where you meet the person that put it all together. The person that has that vision, that dream, that something that happens on the inside when, can you guys hear me good? Okay. You know, that's something that happens when there's a communication from there and it reaches here. Someone mentioned Christie's name to me a while back, and when they said what she was doing, I paused. They said, women fighting for America. Because I've been seeing all of the women movement and these different groups, and their movements are so opposition to what I believe that I did a little research on Christie. And I realized that Christie was not in any way trying to demean or put a man behind the woman. Christie was merely expressing what God told her, and that was to get women to fight for America. Let me share something with you. I noticed that as I begin to do my, I love reading the Bible. It's my favorite thing, right? It's my book. It's my go-to. Every time God gets ready to do a powerful movement, he gets a woman. He wanted a savior. He talked to a woman about it. Mary. And Mary talked to her husband. So, and I realized that whenever the movement comes, the ability that a woman like Christie has, it's called influence. That's why Proverbs, the wisdom is called a woman. You have the church that's called a woman. You've got the harlot that's called a woman, right? And I realized that there are 4 places in the Bible that mentions a woman, and because women have the ability to influence like no other on earth. So when God chose Christie to do what he's doing in the earth, it made me realize that the time is now for women to stand up and start fighting for America, because here's the thing, the truth about America is this: women like Christie have always fought for America. I shared with Christie, you can start coming up, I shared with Christie George Washington as he's crossing the Delaware. And they did not educate us on the whole picture. Because if you look to the center of the picture, there was a woman in the center of the picture crossing the Delaware with George Washington to go and fight. And on the front of the boat were two black men that were going to fight. Because in America, when it's time to fight, we come together, male, female, black, white, all cultures, all Christians, all religions come together to fight for America. And so I want you to stand up and let's give Christie a hand for making the decision to fight for America God's way. Give it up for Christie.
Man, I love that song. Listen, I know it's really hot out there, and I'm going to tell you guys have sweated it out, and I appreciate that, but I'm going to ask a favor of all of you right now. If you guys could come on out from underneath those shaded areas for a second, because I got something to say. You guys can stay over there. You guys can see the screens. If you can't see these video screens, I really ask for you to do that because we're getting ready to show some some very important things that are going on in America that's exposing. So it's so important to see. But I love everybody here. Have these speakers not been amazing or what? And the music, fantastic. Thank you everybody for just being here. I love my country. And again, so I got off of a 24-day border tour. And a friend of mine who's here tonight asked me, Christie, I have a friend who called up and said, you know, we're really afraid to come out of their homes. There's a lot going on in Yuma, Arizona. Would you be willing to go out and go expose and see what's going on at the border? And I'm like, sure, why not? Women Fighting for America, we're on the front lines every day. So I took a crew, it was a very small crew, 2 security and a camera guy. And I started off in Tijuana, Mexico. Because see, I didn't want to just go into a photo op like you see a lot of these politicians doing. I wanted to see how the border crisis, and it's a crisis by the way, affected the United States of America. But not only America, but the illegals that are coming over. And I said it illegal, because they're illegal. And the video we're going to show you in just a few minutes was an eye-opener for myself. We interacted with drug cartel, small business owners who are affected by the illegals, young women and children who are being exploited, rape trees, literally children who are being recycled constantly. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't think that affects each and every one of us here, it does. Because they're actually taking those children, women, men, and placing them into cities and towns all across this United States for numerous reasons that I'm going to get into after you see the video. So I'm going to ask them to cue up the video really quick. And just bear with me for a few minutes. It's about 12 minutes long, but it's really important for you guys to see what's going on.
You gonna let it go, or you gonna film this?
Women Fighting for America here. We're live here in McAllen, Texas on the Rio Grande. See this? Border Patrol, they're all descending here. Everybody leaves their posts. See all these guys? They literally, the drug cartel just now transported them across. Hey, Women Fighting for America here. We're live on the Rio Grande River. See that airboat right there? That is the drug cartel right there. Got a whole bunch of activity up there. You've got a bunch of cars that have pulled up. Those are spotters. They work for the drug cartel. There's spotters back here. They just called these guys in, probably because they're not liking what we're doing. Try to get you live. Something just went that way, so this way. There, those guys right there, those are spotters. So they're spotters all along there. They're looking, they pretend like they're swimming. But you got some light here. See there? Right there. That's a gentleman trying to make his way across. You guys see the spotter up there on the tree to the left? Sitting up there? Yeah. Live action right now. And they literally just pick up these guys. We don't know what kind of diseases they have. We don't know what they have. Some of them have masks, some of them don't have masks. They've probably been exploited along the trail. Women, children. We caught probably about 30, 40 men earlier, about 3 a.m. this morning. All men. There, and another bus right here. Yeah, pull in here. So we can't even take care of our own. The Democrats, the President of the United States, they took an oath. Your representatives, I don't care if you're a Republican, Democrat, or an independent, you took an oath. Your oath law enforcement took an oath, Border Patrol took an oath, military took an oath. They literally took an oath to defend from foreign and domestic. We got people crossing. Can we get a vehicle? Can we get a vehicle? We're in downtown Dallas, Arizona. Literally the border is right there. There's the border rail right there. One of the things I wanted to show you, this particular area, all of the intel that we have gotten is an extremely heavy fortified drug cartel ran city. Thousands upon thousands and hundreds of backpacks. Every single store. One of the things that the drug cartel utilizes is with the coyotes and other human smuggling, and they're bringing fentanyl and drugs over. They use these backpacks. As you can see, thousands of blankets, and in every store is the same thing: blankets and backpacks and socks. And the reason why is because it gets really cold here in the desert at night. So the blankets and the socks are extremely important. We find these things strewn all over the desert. Where they have like staging areas where they bring in, whether they're smuggling humans or drugs, etc., to combination of both. We have staging areas throughout certain pockets along the highways, and they'll stay there until the ride comes along or the lookout comes along to pick them up.
Yep. All this stuff was in one bag.
Yep.
The Dramamine, the lube, the condoms, and the kid's shirt. The kid's shirt.
Yep. The condoms and the lube were right next to the kid's shirt, and the socks. The kid's socks. Sick. All this stuff just left.
Another thing that's really just heartbreaking is what they're called rape trees, and you'll find those, and basically the coyotes will rape the women, and then they take their bras and their panties, and then they throw them up on the tree branches for others to see. It's kind of like a trophy thing. And this is Biden's policies. They do not want you to know what we're getting ready to show you.
Within the first 100 days of this lie.
Yep. And you know what? One of the things is that none of these people are even being checked for COVID-19. They're not getting tested for TB. They're not getting tested for smallpox. We have seen people from Africa, from Venezuela, Mexico. We've seen people of Syria, Muslims, from foreign nations coming in and flooding our borders. This isn't just what they're showing you on the TV and showing you that these are others of Mexicans with women and children. We have seen males, hundreds of males, young males from all over the world and the globe coming in our borders. The drug cartels are sneaking them in. If we do not push back now, we are not going to have a country. We have till 22. Their whole purpose is to take our guns, take our freedoms, and now with passing their new legislation, trying to take our elections, where we will never have a voice. The church better wake up.
So how much did they pay to do that?
Well, we were down in Arapahoe yesterday or the day before, and they were telling us that literally the drug cartel of Aravaca,
That's a controlled cartel town.
it is a controlled cartel town, and we were told that the cartel were actually bringing over Syrian nationals.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually he was caught in Washington, D.C. 6 weeks later.
The cartels have connections all over the world, right? Everybody across the world wants dope. The terrorist organizations that are looking to do harm to America are exploiting those, and we've caught Iranians, Russians, Chinese, Iraqis, Yemenis, you name it, we've caught them here in this border, right here.
Since the new administration took over and their new policies on the border, what is your concern, or what have you seen the difference? What's the difference?
Well, we had what we called the Trump effect, which was we went from under Obama to people every night dealing with narcotics and bodies and everything to very little immigration issues. And now, like the sheriff has said a few times, it's like Obama on steroids. And we're just seeing such an influx between body loads, narcotics loads, and stuff like that. The cartels control everything, right? But the coyotes come bringing these people up, leave women, children, old people, you name it, to die as they're coming across the border. If they can't keep up, they're told, hey, just wait here, we'll send help for you. Help never comes.
understanding these two were ambushed to chasing
Sir, was that the first time that you've heard about this? That we're literally using taxpayer-funded dollars? And what do you feel about that?
I'm one of the veterans that didn't get an opportunity for homeless when I first got here. I mean, for a place to stay. Because this county only got issued in October 15,000 vouchers for the VA, and there's 45,000.
Sir, what branch did you serve in?
U.S. Navy.
So if you could tell this administration anything as far as what you guys need out here, instead of giving the illegals the money, what would you tell them?
What are the people that really need it, that are citizens of this country, instead of placating our friends down south? You know, make them start being responsible for their own, so they don't come. That's what I like.
That was so well said. Thank you, sir, for your service. We appreciate you.
I just want to say thank you for what you are doing all across our border states and bringing an incredible light to what is happening here. And this is not just about the sovereignty of the United States of America. It's about not exploiting the people that are on the other side of that river right there, especially young girls. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
I'm so proud of Christie. She doesn't even know why. It's not because she invited me to an event. It's not because there's a camera. I'm not here to impress anyone. I don't care about fame or I care about fortune because I like to make money. Please understand that. I care about people who are passionate with a cause that do it without trying to belittle someone else by doing what they're doing. There's a women's movement out there that's trying to cancel the men in our culture. Christie is not doing that. Christie is not doing that. She's just merely saying, women, fight for America. She's not bashing the men. She's not belittling the men. We all have our place in America. So I appreciate this type of movement, a movement of truth and sovereignty. We have to support this. We have to support this because women have always counted. Men, we can't survive without them. I don't know about you, I can't. But I want to thank you for being so brave and starting this movement.
Stand and say, not on our watch. America's the watchman of the world. We cannot be silent anymore. God bless the United States. Share the heck out of this message. Make no mistake, this administration has one goal and one thing on their mind. And that is to strip America, to strip you of our constitutional rights. They have a globalist agenda, and the only thing that's standing in their way is the United States of America. The reason why the border is so important to this fight, to shut her down, to close her down, is because it's almost like a puzzle piece. They want to muzzle you with the mask. By the way, that's unconstitutional. Thank God we live in a state of Florida that we do, where we're free. It took them a little too long, though, in my opinion, but at least they finally came around to do the right thing. I've never worn a mask since the beginning. Not saying that COVID's not real, it is. But what happened to the flu? What happened to pneumonia? Do not buy into the propaganda machine. I'm gonna tell you a little story about myself. I know I'm running over and I'm gonna drive my team crazy a little bit here, but this is too important. I'm a Russian Jew on my mother's side. My papa and my grandfather fled Stalin. And see, we used to sit around the table as a family, which is lacking, by the way. We need to go back to that. My parents and my grandparents would tell me the stories of how my family was thrown into the gulags under Stalin's regime. So I understand what's at risk and at stake. I'm also on my father's side, I'm a Cherokee Indian, I got some Cherokee blood in me, so I'm a little bit feisty. You don't want to poke me, I get pretty mad, and I'm kind of determined when I get going. But this is such a pivotal point in history right now, and I cannot tell you guys enough. All of these speakers that you've seen today and that you're going to see today, they're fantastic, they're leaders, they've taken up the charge. But we're not the answer. You are the answer. You see, there's power in numbers. When we have these events, when we have these rallies, we need thousands of you to show up like you did today. I was recently asked on a podcast interview that I was doing about a week or so ago, and they said, Christie, what do you think the number one threat to America is today? And I didn't hesitate. I said, it's ignorance. You see, I've been around this country, 30 states. We have got to teach the Constitution of the United States of America. And you guys have a responsibility out there. I get so frustrated. I don't care if it's a local election or the highest election of the land for the presidency of the United States. You know what matters the most? Policy and agenda. I have seen too many times where a slick politician with their pearly white teeth will get up there and tell you exactly what you want to hear. Or you might not like the way they look or talk. You need to strip it down and you need to see what their policies are and their agendas are. Because right now in Washington, D.C. and in our state legislatures, we have a bunch of yellow-bellied rhinos who need to get the freak out of office. If they are not working for you because you pay their paycheck, if they are not upholding the Constitution of the United States of America, if they are not putting America first and Americans first, then they need to get the heck out of office. It is time we stand up and say, we're done. Enough is enough. You answer to us, not the other way around. And you see, they forgot that. They're answering to the lobbyists and the big money. Not all corporations are bad. I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. That's what built this great nation, not the socialist crap that they're trying to put down our children's throats. America, we built America on our backs and our sweat. We need you to rise up right now, this time. What are you willing to sacrifice? I'm willing to sacrifice everything for my nation. I'll lay it all down. Because you know what? I don't want to have to wake up in 3 years from now after 22. Because let me tell you, make no mistake. Everyone's like, oh, we can wait till 24. Wake up. 24 is never gonna happen. 22 is the end game, folks. 22. We have got to unite, we've got to stand up, and we got to get involved. And that means getting involved in your local communities, going to the school board, standing up at the courthouses, doing whatever we need to do. It's time for us to roll our sleeves up and get dirty. When I went out on that border, by the way, I'm usually a girl in blue jeans. They made me wear this dress. But sorry, guys. It is time for us to make a stand right here. We're drawing it. We need to advance the line, not just hold it. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? It's not easy. We all have our bubbles. I call it bubble living. I get it, we're busy. We got our children, soccer, work, all of these things. We're afraid because you know what? They have fear. They have mobilized you to the point where you're so fearful of pushing back or saying anything because you might lose your job, or you might get fired, or you might be persecuted by your neighbor. Who the heck cares? Because let me tell you something, in 22, November 4th, when the communists take over our nation, none of that's gonna matter because you will not be free. I need each and every one of you, after today, I want you to go to WFFA.WIN. I also want you to go to Defend Florida and Defend the Nation. And I want you guys to get involved. You do not have the luxury to sit back on your couches anymore or vent on Facebook or Twitter or whatever that is. Get involved, get mobilized, and let's take back this country. They don't own it. Let's show them in Washington, D.C. and at every state capital who the heck they work for, and that's us. And I'm going to talk about really quick the mask mandate for these children. First of all, take the damn mask off. Excuse my language. I get so flippin' mad. Do you know that the masks don't even work? They don't work. Our children, little girls and boys running around with masks on their face, they can't breathe. It's unhealthy. It's causing bacterial infections, all sorts of things. Guys, you got to educate yourself. Stop listening to the media and the propaganda machine. If you knew anything about history, you would know what Hitler did and what they did, and it's all about control. Who do you think owns the conglomerate media? Follow the money, folks. Think for yourself. God gave us a brain, didn't he? Turn off the, I'm going to just tell you all right now, just turn off every single flipping news. There's only Newsmax, OAN, and Breitbart in the war room that might be half decent. Educate yourself. Do your own research. And then when you decide to get behind a candidate, don't just listen to what they're saying up on the stage to you, shaking their hand. Do the work. Find out what they did 5-10 years ago. People fundamentally don't change. You'll find out who they really are and what kind of grit they have. We need to get rid of the rhinos. We need to get rid of the socialists out of our government from every level of the land. But we can't do it alone. It starts with you. I want everybody to look at your neighbor and say, it starts with me. What are you gonna do? What are you guys gonna do? What is the people gonna do? I wanna hear it. What are you guys gonna do? Fight back. We can do it peacefully. We're not gonna be like them. We're not gonna be like BLM and Antifa. They're thugs. And this government and this president is flying a BLM flag who happens to be, by the way, partnered with the #1 murderer of blacks in the world. Do you know who that is? They partnered with the #1 killers, the blacks in the world. Planned Parenthood. I'm fired up, and I know I've gone over my time. I'm sorry, guys, but I love this nation, and I'm really tired of us sitting down, sitting quiet and told to just go away. Our voice matters. Your voice matters. We are going to take the We the People tour across this nation. We are going to hit every freaking state, and I want every single person out there who's listening to this message to show up, get involved, and let's take back the sovereignty of the United States of America. I love each and every one of you, and I'm going to end with this because the border was really important. They're taking these girls, women, they're selling them into slavery. We saw it ourselves. They're putting them on air. By the way, you need an ID and you have to pass through security, right, to get on an airplane. In McAllen, Texas, they have the head of the airport authority with a Border Patrol agent and TSA. They are taking these illegals with no ID or anything. They're stamping a photograph on them. They're passing them through security and putting them on aircrafts. We saw it ourselves. This should piss everybody off. They're giving illegals billions of dollars, housing, burial, by the way, $9,000 to bury their loved ones, putting them in our school systems. And my parents were immigrants. I love immigrants. We came here as an immigrant, but we got to do it the right way. They're doing it because they want to infiltrate and take your voice and your vote. Not on my watch. Not on my watch, and it shouldn't be on yours. So let's get fired up and let's take back the United States of America. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much. We have some amazing, wonderful speakers. God bless you and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Give it up for Miss Christie